traders, this is Alex with the StockMatrix program. We had a couple new trades on the 24th. Today is the 25th at about 6:30 in the morning. The markets aren't quite open yet. Meta, META, and JP Morgan, JPM, both went short. So we are now net short on the short term and long term, both -1. I think we were at +1 the last time I did the look here. And again, this I don't usually publish, but I just saved the index, right? My 17 select stocks, but right, 100 shares totaling up. Since we do options, I do 100 shares. That's $445,935 for the total share value. And you can see that index value, I just copy and paste it. Basically, you create a little thing. Anyway, it went short. We were at +3 last time I clicked this button. And it looks like 445 puts us down above the last low that we had back in January. So again, you can see that's pretty interesting. And curious, right? So something's changed. We had a high of +9. Looks like all the way +9. So we had only 1 too short, I guess. So again, kind of overloaded to the upside, and then it broke all the way back to -1. Now we haven't had a real big bear. Back in January we got down to -11. So, and of course that's right where I started this stupid program. It's like right on the low. So again, I had to follow the trend, so I sold everything on the low. So the first trades were all losers. When I was, again, I just picked the full moon. I didn't want to do it on the first. Anyway, so we got definitely a change happening, right? Something's a little different, and that's what I kind of like to see. You got, let's go to the main, the statistical page. You can see we have these annulars coming in today, yesterday, or today or tomorrow. Again, both Google, Tesla, and ED have a pair. So we had on the GAN stuff, we are 90 degrees off the high on 2 of them, Cintas and Procter & Gamble. So another interesting thing. That's it, though. None of the other ones are in play off the lows in particular. Nothing is in play on the 45-day sequence. We are currently about 32 calendar days, or a month away from the next solar eclipse. We're at the new moon. So we do have a lunar eclipse coming in a couple weeks. So, which is cause for any time. And I can't guarantee a lot of things in life, but I can guarantee you one thing that I know personally: the solar and lunar and solar eclipse create volatility. Now let's go look at the charts. I did talk about Meta one other time here in the last few videos. I can't remember which one, but I had to redo the chart, and I kind of went through why, right? Well, here you can see the old chart. Of course, it's not updated. I ended it in February 20th, but this is what I had to view. It was too far out of the frame, and I had a 5x1 speed set up. Now here's what I got now. It's a 1x1 speed, meaning the square of 9 is actual, and you can see with the 27th square was 729. So, or the square root of 729 was 27, right? So anyway, plus a box, or again, you do the revolutions on your GAN wheel if you're into that. But anyway, so that's why I did it, and it pulls the stop down a little bit further than normal. It'd be much faster. Let me see. I'll just go back and just see. We got our stop because I got it to February 5th at 669. We'll call it. That would be 702. So we'd have been stopped out much quicker, and actually made more money. Now again, you have more trades though, right? That's the trade-off. You get in and out a little quicker, but you have a lot more trades. So again, the options, we're trying to get at least 90 days out, so it makes sense that you don't want to get too fast. Otherwise, we trade a lot shorter time horizon on our options. All right, let's move on. I just wanted to show you that. And again, a lot of these I need to probably adjust. It takes a full day to do a whole new chart, so I'm lazy. Okay, let's go. What was the other one? Oh yeah, JPM. Again, similar, right? Here's the Meta. Here's JPM. You can see it has the same look. Stops got hit. Had a poke high, and again, you can see really had not much to go on there. But again, the support's down here. The lunar eclipse is coming up, so that makes sense, right? That we could go down into that. Maybe some secondary event back up, or not, right? Maybe it'll be some plundering low that's a buy of the century. Who knows? Again, the system don't care, right? It just trades whatever. Don't care if you get stopped in and out, to have 100 trades or one trade, and you make $1 million. The system don't care. It's a non-emotional. That's why systems work, right, over time, because they're non-emotional. They have no opinions. They don't care about elections. They just trade the market based on the algorithmic approach that you apply to it. And that's why algorithms work, right, because it's non-emotional. It's a set rules, simple things. Here's the daily chart on Meta. You can see that it went up. The solar eclipse has a cycle of that from this solar initial count point to this high today, the 25th. So interesting to see how we trade off of that. And I also got, you can see I keep track. This is the next solar, and coming up March 29th. So at 22 count, again, I use market days and I use 11s. And if I use calendar days, I use, you know, the GAN numbers of 45, 90, you know, that kind of 120, right? But since I use market days, you can see we're 99 days from the previous solar eclipse and 22 days prior to the solar eclipse. So this is the count, the zone. The 25th, I believe, is Friday. No, the 28th is Friday. So this is Wednesday. Pretty interesting for me and what I do. We got from low to secondary low. A cycle of that comes in on March 4th as well. Let's look back a little bit. Here was our last break that we had. If we have an equal points break, not percentage break, kind of projects a low on March 5th, March 6th. So again, an interesting, I got a lot of stuff coming in around March 5th, 6th. So I don't know what's going on, but definitely as an index, it's pretty important. You can see we're on a 1-to-1 speed here. So again, I think that's a good target. If we have a pretty good break, I think it could also break back into the previous solar eclipse. You know, if it's something a little more than just a small correction, right? If it turns into more of a pounder, but it's still on support, right? So it's hard to be real bearish Meta, even though I don't understand how Meta is up this high, I guess. Only the old folks use Meta, like me. Let's go to the next chart. Next chart on the daily is JPM that we put on. You can see it definitely broke. We had some activity here on the annuals that caused it high. It went up and up, and then it closed lower on an inside, maybe a little reversal day, and then poof, right? But once it took out, that's why these annuals to me are pretty important, right? Because they break them, usually it has a further correction afterwards. Let's look at the previous solar eclipse. I'm kind of curious here. Here is down into the solar. I'm gonna go a day before. I want to get that whole. Right, so the solar eclipse time frame, this was the low prior to, so I did it to the low, but to the time of the solar. I'm curious to see, yeah, that was pretty good. And then now this one, you can see that we're a little faster, so something's a little different. Right now, maybe we'll go right back up here and then continue on the trend down. But if it keeps that speed up, again, something's a little different. We're a lot faster than normal. Now let's look at one other one that looked faster. Here's one that broke 1, 2, 3 days down. Give it a different color here. And you can see that target's, well, it should have dropped a little faster than that. So about 255, if that would happen this morning, that's a similar pattern, right? Now, again, I'm not advocating buy that. You could, right? You know where to risk it to. Or you buy calls, right, for a week out, because the end result was a pretty quick pop, maybe 2 weeks out, whatever the distance is here. But, you know, you definitely could probe at it with options. But again, something's a little different, so you got to be a little careful there on this chart pattern. Kind of off topic here, one last thing. I started trading Trump, a coin, and here's the chart from the beginning. Again, it's a new one, right? The meme coin of the Trump. And you can see we opened at 64. I don't know if that was open, but it was a high, and then dropped all the way down. Here today was a low, actually. And I'll try to pull that chart up. But here is the, again, just like we do up, I kind of put a Gann square of the range and the speed lines, you know, the mathematical speed lines based on that. And I'm going to, and this is the daily. Again, it trades every day, you know, 24/7. So you can see this is the Gann 1-to-1 trend line coming off the high for every 1 day and a square of 9. So again, it definitely time and price squared. We hit it here and we hit it on the low. We're 12 days from this area, but we are 35 days. So again, pretty nice time frame as well. Again, pretty straight down, I guess you call it. We did have a blip up, but again, this will be the pivot point for any projections. Now, again, we haven't confirmed this yet, right? The bottom isn't confirmed, but if you're into Bitcoin, cryptos, that kind of thing. The Trump coin is based on, I don't know actually what, but it's kind of like the Doggy coin, DOGE coin, same kind of principle. It's a meme coin. It can get quite volatile. So about only 20% out in the market. I believe the Trump people own the rest. So it's a new market, kind of interesting, right? I like the activity around stuff like Trump and any controversial stuff, right? And if you can find something to trade on that, it definitely I like the volatility. Just bring it to your attention, and this is how I chart things, right? If I'm looking at it, and definitely got my interest when we squared it out today. So it'll be interesting. Now again, if it breaks 1250, hang on, I'm gonna get the chart here. This is a Coinbase, or excuse me, Robinhood chart on Trump. It got down there pretty cheap, but again, we know, and based on our chart, below 1250 broke that square. Now again, breaking it doesn't mean much. It's a close, right? So all this activity is really meaningless. But let's go to, got down to 1278. So it missed our, again, the charts are a little deceptive, hard, because I waited too long to publish it. But you can see the end result. Again, this is the real time. But again, it happened before that. We had an aggressive blow, and then we keep pushing up now. So again, the activity on Trump is kind of interesting. When it squared out the low. So if we get a decent up close today, it'll definitely have my full attention. Again, I don't like trading stuff that's not enough data, but again, cryptos are a totally different world, and the rules change according to your system. Your time horizons are much shorter. Maybe you have to use an hourly chart instead of a daily, that kind of. Let's take a quick view of our portfolio that we got listed on bar chart. Great service. You guys interested, you can look it up. But this is our current portfolio. We actually, since January 6th start point, we actually took 2 things off that are profitable. Been a while. Again, we did the system right on the absolute low ebb and the high ebb of all these charts. So even the ones that were bullish were at the high. So anyway, just how it turned out. Again, that happens, right? So anyway, we got 2 trades that we liquidated that were actually profitable. Again, something's different, right? That's what I always keep in my mind. I'm going, ooh, something's different. You might be in for a trender or something. Anyway, so this is a portfolio. You can stop and pause it. I'm going to also give you a quick view of the calendar days of these. I'm going to do the last 4 trades because I said I was going to do it last time and I forgot. Hang on just a second. Well, here first, let's go to my 45-day right calendar count. Like WD Gann used to use. He liked to use 90 degrees, 180, 360, 1444. Right, those all numbers are also, some of those are Fibonacci numbers, but you can see you can print these out if you want, or write them down real quick. Again, a lot of them don't come into again, you got a long time. 45 days is a month and a half, so it takes a while sometimes for them to change. But now let's go to Meta, the first one. And this is, again, Meta is a relatively new company, so there's not a lot of important annulars. Now, I don't do minor ones unless I did on Coinbase. Other than that, which I'll show you here in a second. But you can see these are the main ones. I keep track of the pivots as well. So you can write these down, print those out. Amazon was the one here previous week, or previous trade that I put out. And again, you can see, you can print these out as well, right? Again, lows, highs, open are all important to me. So we got that one, and I think Microsoft was the other one we did. So you can go through and print these out, and you can see there's also some periods where there's nothing going on. Like one of the trades I put out the other day was Cintas. It's interesting, Cintas is one of the oldest companies. It had no, December 27th was the last of the year, and then there's no annuals at all for a month and a half. That's just fascinating to me. I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. It's weird. And of course, the market did go. Again, to me, this is resistance and support, right? When you don't have any, like Cintas went straight up and filled the gap, right? So again, there was nothing to hold it back from doing that. Interesting. Here's Coinbase, the other one that we did the other day. So I won't go through them all. I don't want to get too long-winded, but I just want to show you so you can print these out. Now I need to make sure I add a few, for next, because again, some of them have the 24th, 2024 on there, some of them don't. So Coinbase, I was pressing it because there's not much since it's relatively new. So anyway, that is my annular page, and I'm going to sign off now and have a great rest of your trading week.